Massive thanks to the mad lads and ladies supporting the channel. The doggos say thanks. Hey everyone, it's time for some more Monster Hunter, and today we're going to talk about something that's pretty near and dear to me, something that's strongly affected me for a majority of my life, if not for my entire life, just about at this point. Before we do though, I want to make a quick addendum to my last Yet video. Now, I want to apologize because it kind of came off as a bit of a crazy, unhinged rant at times. And this is something I'm just going to briefly touch over. It's going to be very quick, and then I'll get on to the point of this video. But I know I was talking about like XQC's response to GTA 6 being $100 and stuff like that. And in order to properly convey what I was talking about in a more coherent way, I guess the best way I can put it is, what I was basically saying is, instead of, like, eat the rich or hate people because they're rich or whatever, XQC definitely earned his success, and I'm happy for him that he did that. The whole point I was trying to get at is that $100 is a lot of money for somebody who isn't well off. And if you are well off, then I think that if you have a lot of influence over millions of people, over a decision that could price out a lot of people from a hobby that, might be their only hobby, or it might be a hobby that they wouldn't have access to if it weren't for the current prices, or even the prices from before, then I feel like it's dangerous to set that precedent of basically saying that, oh, well, it's fine because, it's not a lot of money. Because for people who are less well off, it is a lot of money. Because I'm somebody who's not well off, and I can also testify from that point of view that it's a lot of money. Even as somebody who's not as poorly well off as other people, someone who isn't well off at all, I'm at least able to pay for my needs and necessities, and it's still a lot of money for me. So, in that sort of situation where you have millions and millions and millions of dollars, $100 really isn't a lot. It's like if a Big Mac cost a couple of pennies, but then somebody was only getting like 20 or 30 pennies a month. And then they raised it up to like a nickel. Then all of a sudden, that's like a sixth of their monthly income. It's not quite that extreme, but I hope that at least paints a picture of what I was talking about before. Now, on the point of today's video, I want to talk about self-worth and, feeling like you're good enough or not good enough. Because I know that's something a lot of people struggle with, especially people who are on social media a lot. And it's also something I struggled with as a kid. I'm kind of in a bit of a unique situation there, in that a lot of my self-worth doesn't, a lot of my issues with self-worth does not come from social media at all. And I'm even able to separate, well, these people are just strangers on the internet, so their opinions don't really matter in terms of, me feeling good about myself. A lot of mine comes from, direct experience, and it's something I've had to overcome. And even though I haven't completely overcome it, I feel like I can at least offer a unique insight on, a healthy way of dealing with issues of self-worth. So I first want to address, young men, young boys, people who are, on social media, the people who have been influenced by Andrew Tate, or people who have been influenced by, the Marvel characters or actors or whatever else. A lot of these people, and I really can't stress this enough, a lot of these people are not worth looking up to. Somebody like Andrew Tate, for example, he is a self-admitted pedophile. He has16, 15-year-old little kids.
I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women, or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America. 18?
And I'm going to leave a little space here in the video so I can, easily find it. I'm going to put that little clip in of Andrew Tate saying, yeah, after 15 years old, yeah, it's disgusting. So, hey, if you didn't know that about Andrew Tate, you're in high school, or maybe you're in your early to mid-20s, and that's something you dealt with back in the pandemic era, yeah, don't look up to somebody like that, because he's also a scammer, a thief, probably, allegedly, a human trafficker. If not, he's at least a scumbag. So, yeah, definitely don't look up to him. Another thing is Marvel characters and, just actors in general. I think somebody like Keanu Reeves is probably a good body type to go for. If anybody remembers the movie 300, I can't remember the lead actor's name, but I believe he said that in order to obtain even his physique, which by modern standards would probably be seen as average, he had to basically destroy his body by going to the gym 6 hours a day just to barely sustain it. And because of that, yeah, he was able to get that physique, and it's just not worth it. Another thing is just Marvel characters, current actors of today, a lot of them are using steroids, and steroids will severely impact your health and your growth later on in life, and it will lead to long-term health benefits. Now, I know that that's all just kind of obvious stuff that's been said before, but it is something that I at least wanted to put out there as a preface, just to like kind of tell everybody, yeah, this is an unrealistic standard to go for. Now, I have lost 30 pounds in the last 3.5 months, and I lost 20 pounds in the first month. And the reason why is because I'm overweight. And even now, like I said before in the last video, I am still overweight. And I'm working on, getting back to a good, healthy weight. The reason why that happened is because I was addicted to food. And the reason why I was addicted to food is because I felt like I wasn't good enough, that my life wasn't going anywhere, that I would never be able to accomplish anything in life and get to a position where, just giving up wasn't a good option. Because for me, I was just like, I've given it everything I've got the last 10 years. I've done my best to survive. And even now, I barely have anything to show for it. I have a vehicle, I have my dogs, and I have a laptop. And after 10 years, that's all I got. And for a while, again, I did give up on myself. Even as recently as last year, I was just like, yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth trying. Even starting this channel, there's times, as recently as just a few days ago, where I was like, am I just releasing slop to nobody? Am I just damaging my channel? Am I actually entertaining? Am I fun? Am I funny? Am I, will I be a good content creator? Am I actually good enough as somebody who wants to make their living entertaining people? And regardless of if the answer is yes or no, I do also look at the numbers to help me feel better because, yeah, I'm not getting gangbuster numbers, but I am growing, which means people at the very least appreciate me as a content creator, or my content, or my hustle, or my humor, or whatever else. And regardless of if I actually think I'm funny or not, other people do think I'm funny and enjoyable to listen to. And that does help boost my self-esteem, but that's also a dangerous mindset to have. That leads into another thing I want to talk about. You shouldn't base how you feel about yourself off of your accomplishments, off of your achievements, or off of what other people think about you. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a healthy level to being like, okay, a lot of people say I smell bad, so I probably smell bad. A lot of people say that I look unhealthy. Maybe I look gaunt, or maybe I look overweight, so maybe I should take steps to make myself healthier because, in that sense, it'll lead to a longer life, it'll lead to a better quality of life, and it'll lead to a better mental state, and a better, feeling good about yourself and everything else. And in terms of that, yes, it's good to have input from other people, but at the end of the day, you really are the only person that matters in terms of who makes the decision, who makes the call, and who implements the strategies to act on those decisions. Because only you can really decide what you want to do with yourself. Now, this leads into the whole thing with self-love, and this is something that's kind of distraught me over the years. There's been a lot of people I've known and care about that have gotten into relationships when they don't even care about themselves. They have been like, oh yeah, I love this person so much, I would do anything for this person. But just like me, with my unhealthy emotional attachment to my dogs, these people have kind of clung on to another person to make themselves feel validated. And not like in a selfish way, not like in a malicious way. It's just they feel like they have nothing and they have nobody and nobody cares about them except this one person. And because this one person cares about them, they become the center of this person's focus, and this one person is all that matters to them. That can lead to clinginess or desperation. It can lead to emotional and, mental breakdowns and outbursts. And it can lead to an emotionally or mentally abusive relationship. And it's because they think, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And I'm good enough now with this person. And without this person, I won't be good enough again. And it goes into, like, abandonment and attachment issues, but I'm not here to say that, like, whoever you are good enough, and it's okay to have, like, you should never be narcissistic. You should always try to improve yourself, improve your life, and just as a whole, improve your quality of life and what you do as a person. So that doesn't say set realistic expectations. Every content creator shouldn't try to aim to be Mr. Beast. As an example, for me, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, again, be good enough. I'm trying to get 100, 150,000 subscribers, enough to get an apartment, pay rent, and survive. And that'll be enough for me. And then if I get bigger, if I get to the point where I can actually properly hire people, give them full salaries and wages and stuff, then all the better. That means I'm just doing good, I'm doing better, and I'm good enough at my job to where, or at my, career path at being a content creator, that I can have this option of paying people and doing better. And, being able to pay them, of course. And again, that just revolves around, being able to have that level of skill, being able to have that level of, commitment to being a content creator. But even that aside, if I don't get to that point, I don't think I'm going to get to that point because I don't think I'm good enough. But it's also an unhealthy mindset to have. A lot of people will think, oh, I'm not good enough, and then because of that, they won't try. And there's been so many times over the last 3 to 4 months, where I've wanted to give up on being a content creator. I had an inflated sense of what my growth would be, because I believe I got my first 400 to 500 subscribers in my first couple of months. For a new channel just starting out, that is an unprecedented level of growth. And slowly, very slowly, over the last 300 or 400 months, I've gotten another 100, 200 subscribers. And I am grateful for that. But even now, I keep thinking, is it enough? Am I good enough? What if I become homeless again? What if I have an opinion that people don't like? What if people just get bored and then everybody decides to unsubscribe at once and then I'm just back at zero? Because I have so many times been at that point where I've pretty much been like, oh, well, things are going well. I'm about to get my life together. And it all just comes crashing down. And it's happened consistently. And it's happened probably over a dozen times in the last 10 years. And I'm actually surprised I haven't completely broken yet. There have been a couple of brief periods of me basically giving up, of not knowing what to do, of being like, well, what's it going to take? What do I have to do? Because then I'd be willing to do almost anything. Thankfully, I never resorted to something like criminal activity, to something like, selling myself, for lack of a better way of putting it. But there have been a couple of times where I thought, well, if it wasn't for my dogs, I would have just basically given up by now. And it's because I felt like I wasn't good enough. And that feeling, that self-confidence issue, that feeling of, oh, I have to be better than everyone else, I have to be at the top, it's unhealthy and it's unsustainable. And the reason why it's unhealthy and unsustainable is because you might not ever get to that point. I might not ever get to that point. I think that it's healthy for me to want to make this something that I can live off of, that I can survive off of, because it is, as long as I stay consistent with it, with a proven track record of, thousands, tens of thousands of people doing the same thing, a pretty safe bet in that, yeah, if I stay consistent with it, if I do my best, more than likely I can do well. But for every thousands, tens of thousands of people that are at that point, there's still tens of thousands of people that have been doing this for years and they've gotten nowhere. And that is something that I also take into consideration. I might never get to 1,000 subscribers. I might never get past, 780, 90 subscribers. And I'm not going to say that's fine. I'm not going to say that I'd be okay with that. But at the very least, it's something I have to accept. It doesn't matter how hard I work at my career. I might never get to a corporate executive, millions of dollars a year job. It doesn't matter how hard I try to, be a good worker, do my jobs, push myself to the breaking point. there's always going to be somebody who's trying harder, and there's always going to be somebody who might get a position that I qualified for, but they got because of something like nepotism. And because of that, it does influence, me feeling apathetic, my willingness to do these things, my ability to force myself and push myself to do these things. But at the same time, it also lets me know that I have to learn to accept that this could potentially happen and take that in consideration whenever I plan for things in life. And I feel like that has helped make me a more rational person and somebody who's able to effectively navigate through life with a realistic mindset. At the same time, I could get lucky. Maybe Markiplier or PewDiePie or Mr. Beast sees this video, and they're like, yeah, I want to give this guy a boost, and they do help me out. And, seeing those people who get a boost from a big creator, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, overnight they're a big content creator. Yeah, it does make me feel like, wow, this person was able to do this, but I don't think I'll ever be able to do this, or get this push, or get this help, or get this luck. It doesn't make me good enough. And the answer is, yes, I'm good enough to do this. I'm good enough to try this, because there are still people there who enjoy my content. Even if it's one, even if, like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just one single person. There are people who are giving me money, no matter how little, no matter how long, who are giving me money, who have given me money to be a content creator. And for me, at least, that lets me know I'm at least good enough to be enough for this role that I've put myself in as a content creator. Even outside of that, in terms of relationships, talking to women, just being good enough as to be like an attractive person, like looks maxing and money maxing and whatever else, it's something that really upsets me, because a lot of people are conventionally attractive, but they're not the most attractive. A lot of people are, they're not overweight, but they're not like that perfect size and shape. And a lot of people are these perfect sizes and shapes either because of steroids, or because they have genetics on their side, or because they actually, like I said with that one actor from 300, they go to the gym like 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, and they pretty much base their entire life around the gym and around how they look online. And most people will not have the luxury or the time of being able to do that. So people have been in this rut for quite a few years now, where they think, oh, okay, well, I have to be the most attractive person in the room in order to be good enough. I have to look like, Thor from the Avengers for people to think I'm even, like a 6, 7 out of 10 or something like that. And that's an extremely dangerous mindset to have, because that is unrealistic. And even if that is realistic for some people with the proper genetics, the amount of effort and time that would take might not be the amount of time that somebody has to put in the effort to do that. And because of that, people might hurt themselves. People might resort to, doing whatever else that might hurt their bodies, or hurt their lives, or hurt their criminal records even. And it's all just so they can feel like they're good enough. So I'm not going to come out here and say, oh yeah, you are good enough no matter where you are. If you're somebody who smells bad all the time, but it's something you can control, then yeah, bathe more, use deodorants, just try to take care of yourself. If you're somebody who's overweight and you're thinking, well, I can't lose weight no matter what I do, go to the doctor, see if it's a actual thyroid or a glandular problem, whatever. If the doctor just says, no, it's not, focus on your calories, focus on what you're eating. Move more, work out more. Try to go to the gym for like an hour a day. If you can only work out at home for 30 minutes to an hour a day. Do calisthenic workouts. There's a couple of apps I use. One for the gym with dumbbells and barbells called Fitbod. And it's an Android app. I'm on Android devices. I'm not on iPhones. But it's called Fitbod. And I don't pay for the subscription. I just use the refresh feature on the workouts page to just kind of give myself a workout to do every day. And then there's another one for if you don't have equipment and if you're going to work out at home. It's called Home Workout, No Equipment. And it's something I use to lose, well, before, whenever I lost weight again, before I kind of gave up on myself, because, again, these thoughts crept in of, oh, self-worth and am I good enough? Using this app, I was able to lose probably about 20 pounds in 3 to 4 months. Now, I'm not going to say you'll get those results. I was also, eating well. I was also pushing myself. And I still don't know if I have a high metabolism, a low metabolism, or just the everyday average metabolism. Also, keep in mind, you should not expect to lose 20 pounds in a month. Crash dieting isn't the answer. I used to be a professional personal trainer, like certified and everything. And I did a lot of research on this, so I was able to use my knowledge and expertise to lose that much weight. And currently I'm 30 pounds down, and I am still sustaining it. So something like that, it's not something that people should expect. A healthy amount of weight to lose is about 1 pound per week. That's probably a healthy amount of weight to lose. You shouldn't be on the scale every day looking at your weight because there will be fluctuations. You should check maybe bi-weekly or once a month to see what your progress is. I still check it. I check multiple times a day because for me it's mostly for just tracking purposes, because I want to see, all right, how much more weight am I losing? These strategies I'm trying, how are they affecting my weight loss? And that's the reason why I'm obsessing over the numbers so much. Even then, it is still unhealthy to obsess over the numbers, but I'm at least able to look at it and be like, okay, well, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, you didn't lose 20 pounds this month, so you're not good enough, because that's an unhealthy mindset to have. And that's not something I'm going to think about myself, because I understand it's an unhealthy mindset to have, and also understand it's an unrealistic expectation. So about a pound a week, maybe 3 or 4 pounds a month, that's probably a good safe bet for most people. For women, you might think you're not skinny enough. Anorexia isn't the way. Starving yourself is not the way. Because if you're unhealthy, I really don't know how to word this in a non-offensive way. I guess if you're trying to look good and just look good for people, other people to judge you, it's very unhealthy. And it doesn't matter, and it's pointless. And the reason why it's pointless is because even if you go to those people, even if you try to, make yourself look good for other people, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because if you look good, but your health is poor, if you can't hardly get out of bed in the mornings, then what's the point of it all? What's the point of looking good besides for validation? And if you need people to validate you, then you need to focus on taking care of yourself and validating yourself first. There's a very popular phrase. It goes, how can you expect to love other people if you can't even love yourself? And it really does begin by loving yourself. And then other people who enjoy being around you will just naturally come along. And the way that manifests is, let's say you don't... Oh, goodness. Well, that was cheap. I am calling hacks on that one, serious. But let's say that you don't take care of your teeth much. Start taking care of your teeth. Maybe save up, if you're able to afford it, to get dental care and get your teeth fixed or get your teeth replaced if that's what it takes. And if you can't afford that, just do the best you can. Just keep brushing your teeth, keep flossing, keep using mouthwash. My teeth are in horrible shape, but there isn't really much I can do about it because currently I'm impoverished and I can't afford any dentists, and dental insurance will only cover a small portion of that. The last time I got quoted on how much it would cost to fix my teeth, I believe it was about $10,000 to $15,000. And that's just not something I can afford, or that I'll probably ever be able to afford. But something else you can do, if you have bad odor, bathe more, unless it's an actual problem with your body, in which case, go to a doctor, get diagnosed, just make sure. But if you smell bad because you don't bathe much, bathe more often. It'll make you feel better. It'll make you feel more refreshed. It'll make you feel less sticky and sick all the time. It'll make you just feel less awful in general. And if you're somebody that struggles with socializing, something that's worked for me, I don't necessarily know if I have many actual friends, but at the very least, if you can find a group of people, I don't know, let's say just gamers in general, or just, some group of people that you can relate to, just approach and be like, hey, I struggle with talking to people, but I'm trying to make friends. Let's do something together. Let's play a game. Let's just chat. And something I struggle with is just trying not to feel like I'm the problem, that I'm making the situation worse by not talking. I found out it's okay to not talk. Like I said, I literally grew up with no friends at all. And it wasn't until I was about 23 or 24 that I started properly socializing with people and trying to make friends. And by taking that route, and by, taking those steps of just being like, approaching people and saying, hey, I'm trying to make friends because I don't have any friends and my social skills are poor, it has helped me to get a few friends. Some people you'll talk with and you might develop a good relationship with at first, but then you'll kind of drift apart, and that's a normal part of life. And sometimes you might, just not get off on the right foot with somebody. You don't really get along, but then after a while, you just kind of like respect each other and get to know each other, and then it's like, all right, a friendship starts to develop out of that. And you might never be best friends, but you'll be acquaintances. And it really is just a matter of talking to people, trying to figure out, what your niche is, how you can talk to people, how you can socialize. There are people who've given up and they lash out, and they're just a huge dick. They'll cuss at you, they'll insult you, and everything else. But all you can really do is just try to find people who want to see you grow, who want to be a part of your life, and who want to basically help you improve, and who are willing to call you out if you do something wrong. They might criticize you if you do something bad, and that's okay, because that gives you the chance to grow. And I know this has kind of been a long, rambly sort of thing, but there's just so much to this that I want to talk about, even now, and that I want to clarify on and go over, but I just don't really have the time for it. There's not really enough time in a day to really put it all into words. I guess at the end of the day, if there's anything I can have y'all take from this, it's that you don't have to have a six-pack and a monstrous body in order to be good enough. You don't have to have all the ladies to be, an alpha male, to be a Chad, to be good enough. At the end of the day, you just have to be you. Some people are naturally loners. Some people are naturally social butterflies. Some people are, more buff naturally because they have good genetics. Some people are less buff. Some people are, they're really skinny and they're going to be skinny for most of their lives because that's just what their genetics have for them. There's some people who do have thyroid issues, who have trouble losing weight, and they just have to make the most of it and try to take steps to be a healthy person and live a healthy life without overindulging and, making it everyone else's problem, I guess. Like the fat acceptance movement. A lot of these people are saying, oh, well, I'm pretty just the way I am. It's okay to be a larger person, but if you're unhealthy and you're saying you're healthy, if you're breathing through a tube and you're saying, oh, yeah, I'm healthy and I'm beautiful, you're not healthy because you're breathing through a tube. You're factually not healthy. You're going to die early of a heart attack, of a stroke, of diabetes. You are going to die, and that's why everybody points it out. There is a difference between narcissism, coping with with delusion, and feeling like you're good enough. And the difference between those is, if you're a narcissist, you think you're God and everybody owes you the world. If you're, coping with delusion, it's something like the fat acceptance movement. I'm 300, 400 pounds, and that's healthy, and I'm beautiful. People will find you beautiful. You might think you're beautiful. That's okay. But you're not healthy. And people are bringing it up not because they hate you, not because they want to discriminate against you, but because they're worried about you. Because they don't want you to die at 20, 30, 40. There are so many fat acceptance movements influencers who've died in their 20s and 30s. Multiple people, 5, 6, 7 big names who've died young because they didn't want to take care of themselves, because they didn't feel like they're good enough. And a lot of these people are lashing out at the world because they feel like the world has said they're not good enough. I still feel the same way. I feel like the world hates me. I feel like I'm not good enough, and that I'll never be good enough, and that anything I do, I'll never get to 1,000 subscribers. I'll never get to the point where, I'm just going to be homeless again, and no matter what I do, I'm just going to be in that same spot where I'm not good enough for my dogs, where I'm not able to take care of them, because they're all I have, and I just don't know if I'm good enough to take care of them. But nobody else is willing to take care of them because they're aggressive to other animals. So I can't bring them to a no-kill shelter. And I feel like, people just can't seem to understand, well, if you had a kid and you needed to give them up for adoption because you literally couldn't afford to take care of them because you were about to be homeless and you didn't want your kid to be homeless, if they were a troublemaker who didn't get along with other kids and got in fights, would you give them to an adoption center if the adoption center would euthanize them, potentially, for taking too long to find a home because they're a troublemaker? And the answer is most likely no. And that's just the type of... And when I say an unhealthy attachment, I do see my dogs as my kids, because I don't know if I'll ever have kids. Because I don't think I'm good enough as a parent, because I can't seem to get my life together no matter how hard I try. And then that leads to that unhealthy emotional attachment to my dogs, where it feels like they're all I have, so I take extreme measures to keep them safe and keep them alive. And don't get me wrong, it is good to take measures to keep your pets safe and alive, but it is to the point where sometimes I end up hurting myself, potentially, to just make sure they have the basic necessities. And I've had to understand and accept that I'm good enough as a person to where I don't have to resort to that in order to take care of them. Sometimes it is best to just do the best you can and accept that is all you can do. And still love yourself and take care of yourself, because that will lead you to growing. That will lead to at least you feeling better about your life. And then eventually people will come around you who want to be a part of seeing you grow, because there are almost always people out there, even for somebody like Logan and Jake Paul, and Andrew Tate. I've expressed how much I hate them and how much I'm disgusted with them. Andrew Tate, there's no going back. There's no forgiveness. He's a pedophile. He is an admitted pedophile. And I have put the clip in this video of him admitting he's a pedophile by sleeping with 15-year-old women, girls, little girls, children. And so there's no going back for him. I'm always going to hate Andrew Tate because he's just a disgusting, subhuman piece of trash. He doesn't even deserve a prison sentence. He deserves to be put in one of those head and shoulder, the head and wrist restraints, and have people pepper him with tomatoes. And probably even worse. I'm going to go full optimist, controversial here. Much, much, much worse. He deserves the electric chair. He does, because he's a pedophile. He is, and it's not even like he's done it and he wants to get better. He's proud of it. And that's why I feel that way about him. But somebody like Jake and Logan Paul, they're disgusting human beings. They're scammers. They're thieves. They have provably, with court documentation, admitted in court to scam their audience. At least Logan Paul did, so he could sue CoffeeZilla. He admitted to scamming people at CryptoZoo so he could counter one of CoffeeZilla's points in his thing suing him. Or I think it was another thing. I don't know. To be fair, this is all alleged. This is all alleged for the sake of legal purposes. This is all alleged. It might not be true. It's alleged. It's still in court. It's alleged. Except Andrew Tate. He's a pedophile because I have him on video admitting to it. 4K. You're caught, Andrew Tate. You're a pedophile. You can't say you're not, because I just play the video over and over and over and over again as many times as it takes to show you're sleeping with 15-year-old little girls. Yeah. So Andrew Tate, disgusting pedophile. Jake and Logan Paul, though, they, even as disgusting people, I'm still willing to let's say they want to improve their lives. Let's say they want to be all right, I'm gonna let's say Logan Paul comes up. He's like, all right, I'm gonna stop suing CoffeeZilla. I'm gonna use my immeasurable, just massive wealth to pay back the people I've scammed. And I want to try to be a better person. Logan Paul will then deserve to have, that, hey, yeah, I'm growing to feel better about himself, because he's trying to do better. And it's that sort of thing. Even if you're a bad person or you see yourself as a bad person, you can still be better. And unless you're a bad person and you're proud of the fact you're a bad person, you can be better. And you will be better. All you have to do is take those steps to be better. I know I'm kind of rambling on again. Sorry about that. I'll go ahead and wrap this up. But let me just give everybody a little something to go by. If you want to better your life, start out small. Don't go to the gym. Just do a few push-ups, crunches, squats every day. 10 of each. 30 reps total. It literally takes 5 to 10 minutes. Do that every day. or like not every day. Don't work out every single day. Your muscles will degenerate. Personal trainer site coming out. Do it like 3 to 4 times a week. Just get up in the morning and set up a consistent pattern. You know, motivating yourself to do this sort of thing isn't something that'll work. You can't motivate yourself. You have to discipline yourself. And there's a difference. The reason, like, the difference is that with discipline, even if you don't want to do it, you're making yourself do it. And you have to do this. You have to start with something consistent. After that, let's say you're, overweight. You want to cut something out of your diet. Cut out soda. It's almost always soda. If you got juice, cut out juice. Go for 0-calorie options. You can go for like Coke Zero. Don't rely on Coke Zero because it's still dangerous to drink it in excess. But maybe do like 1 normal Coke a week, 1 Pepsi a week, 1 Mountain Dew a week. And, besides that, mostly drink like water or flavored water. And like, keep in mind that there is also, that it has sucralose in it, so there is downsides to it. But try to focus on drinking water. You don't even have to change your food yet. Focus on drinking water, doing a few reps of crunches, push-ups, sit-ups in the mornings. After that, focus on slowly whittling down your calorie intake versus your calorie output. Figure out how many calories you're taking in every day. For me, it was about 2,500, 2,800, something like that. That's how many I'm outputting every day. And I was eating 3,000 to 4,000 calories. So I've cut it down to about 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day. And that's why I lost so much weight, because my body was using those fat reserves I had to compensate for that. And now it's kind of reached a bit of an equilibrium. So I'm having to start cutting calories more in order to get down to a normal weight. And then I can start sustaining that. But besides that, just start doing that. Do that, every single day. It's okay to have a cheat day. Just don't go overboard. If you lose progress, if you fall victim to, your urges, that's okay. Just try again. And don't give up if there's a lack of progress. That's something I've learned as a content creator. Just because there's a lack of progress, don't give up. Because as long as you're doing your best and people can see that you're doing your best, a lot of people want to see you grow because of that. Because there's not a lot of honest people out there anymore. There's a lot of people who are trying to be fake, who are trying to just be good enough for other people that they don't take the time to be good enough for themselves. And you need to be good enough for yourself. And as soon as you're good enough for yourself, that's when you'll start seeing that growth. And that's when you'll start feeling better. And that's where it'll all come together and lead to an objectively better life. Even if not in terms of finances or your situation, you'll at least feel better about yourself, and that will give you the confidence and the strength you need in order to push yourself to keep trying to go for that better finances and better situation and everything else. That said, I think that's everything I really have to say on it. Thank you everybody so much for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like on it. Comment down below if you want to counter any points I had, or if you have anything to add on, or if you just want to share something about yourself and your own experiences with self-worth. Men, women, young, old, don't think you're not good enough just because you're not the best. There's going to be a best, but then eventually there's going to be a best from them. And instead of chasing for the stars, focus on what's at eye level first. Focus on that first step before you take that big leap. Because if you take that big leap before you take that first step, you'll just faceplant. And it'll be wasted time, it'll be wasted effort. Some people might get lucky and they might just barely make that big leap. But it's not worth the gamble. Take that first step, focus on bettering yourself, focus on being good enough for yourself. And then eventually you will be good enough for other people as well. Again, sorry for going on another tangent. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to join my Discord and play Monster Hunter with us, where, I'll be tagging everybody for these videos. Thank you, Kenny, for helping me out today. I believe he was in my Discord as well. So thank you for that. Yeah, check out my Discord, linked in the description below. If you want to support the future of the channel, if you want to help me grow, if you want to help me make this something where I can try to take care of my dogs, take care of myself, and hopefully eventually make even better content for you guys, then check out my Patreon linked in the description below. It's only $1, and with that dollar, it'll do so much to help the channel. Yeah, that's it. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.